back to what I was actually trying to say before my wife interrupted me, as she always does. So here we are living
did I
in...
say I'm not married? Did I tell you guys that?
Just think about
Been there
this
twice.
one.
It sucked. Both times.
I'm being challenged at times too.
It's okay.
So 97%, so whatever, 97, 95%. But just look at it this way. So here's what my real struggles are. It's like people are unhealthy. That's a fact. You know, if it's, make it 5%, 10%, 90%, it is sadly 90% living an unhealthy lifestyle. Now, yeah, some go to the gym, 2 times a week and go for 10 minutes on the elliptical, and I get it. And then the knees start hurting, whatever, they're done. So again, we're talking about like a healthy lifestyle. There's a lot that goes into it. So back to 90 to 95% living somewhat unhealthy. So now we're asked to stay home.
Which is even worse.
Which is even worse.
Yeah.
So now you're already unhealthy. Now, what options do you have? Everyone is running to Safeway, to Lucky's, and not everyone is going to buy like premium food at Whole Foods or whatever.
No, they're buying fucking sourdough bread yeast.
Yeah, it's all. And you know what? When I go to McDonald's, which I do once a year, just to kind of get it out of my...
On your birthday?
Yeah. No, I just do it randomly when I feel like it. So, but when I go to McDonald's, I make a conscious decision. I'm going to eat some crappy food I shouldn't be eating, and I eat it, and I made the decision.
Because you know.
But when I go to, but when people go to Lucky's, they think they're buying nice fish that's coming from whatever. It's it's good fish, whatever.
Right.
Of course, we're paying attention to price more than ever.
Right.
That's how I grew up. So you go into Lucky's and. I'm gonna Lucky's, Safeway,
really
whatever.
picking
like,
on Lucky's right
no,
now.
I don't mean to pick on Lucky's. What I want to pick on is that we're going out there eating shitty food.
Yeah,
it's all freaking boxes. Everything just like it's horrible.
Yeah.
So you're living an unhealthy lifestyle. Now you're worried about your life. Now you're sitting at home. Now you're going to eat the shit that you're getting that whether you even put some thought into it, it's a miracle if some put some thought into it. But, now we're trying to, oh my God, I don't know. I have my job. Will I have my job? My husband doesn't have a job. All my kids, all this freaking chaos. So you're buying the shit. You're eating the garbage. You're sitting at home. You're absolutely not moving, and walking a dog or jogging for like twice a week for 10, 15 minutes, it just doesn't do it.
Right.
That's not the answer here. So things have gone from bad to really, really bad. And, there are some numbers out there that when you pay attention to what you should be paying attention to the news is like, look at it. It tells you once again, this is for unhealthy people. Unhealthy people will get sick. And we have gotten from being bad to worse. It's like our health is just like plummeting.
Yeah.
And second wave, of course there's a second wave.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, well, of course. Just think about like what we're just like doing right now.
Yeah, totally.
We're talking about Sweden. Nobody's talking about, well, some talk about Sweden, some talk about South Korea. They're like some countries who did not partake in this guinea pig experience that half the world does. This is not normal what we're doing.
Right.
This is like the guinea pig version of how to deal with a virus.
Right.
It's not healthy because we're doing the opposite. And then once again, if you pay attention to the news, it says 65% to 70%, whatever. But those news are out there. They say very, very clearly that those are from people who are bound to stay at home, been home, and they get sick. And those are the ones who also die from it. So again, everything that we're doing is like we're paying attention to something is important. Social distancing, all those things really, really matter. But this will backfire.
I agree. I totally agree with that. So, and you obviously know this as well as I do. Like I've been thinking, okay, I'm going to open. I'm like you guys. I'm like, on Monday? Yeah. Oh, oops, no, not Monday. Yeah. Next Monday? Okay, maybe next Monday. I think next week I'll open.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to, for you guys, it's different because you can't even function with, would you say 4,500 members with the two of you, right?
Yeah.
Right.
At 3 locations. I have 1 location. I've got 50 plus members and a lot of them are self-sufficient. I don't have to do classes all the time, right?
Right.
So I'm coming back to work by myself. I'm not going to hire back my employees right away, although I want to because I can't wait for us to all be a community again. But here's what I'm worried about. We're going to come back to work and in 2 weeks, they're going to be like, oh, psych, you guys got to close down again because there's been another wave. And now I got to let my girls go again. And then they got to refile for unemployment and all of this bullshit, which we know that's just going to fucking break any moment. Can I say
yes.
that with your members?
Yeah.
Your people?
You can say
your people?
It's already gone in a whole
train left the station.
Yeah, it's fine.
So all I'm saying is like, yes, there's going to be another wave. I believe it. In fact, in Sonoma County, just like in the last 2 weeks, it's got an uptick of 236 cases in the last 10 days or something like that. I don't know. Back to statistics.
Right.
There's like roughly that. But
yeah,
the
I think
point
we're
is,
at like
is that
500 now. Well, 500
Right.
cases, 300 are active. Because I look
Right.
at those numbers every
200
single
plus
day.
of those are just within the last 10 days.
It was
or
a lot.
14
We had a
days.
big uptick, yeah.
So, and that kind of coincides with like starting to open things up again. And I also know it coincides with now there's more testing, right? So maybe
Yes.
that's part of it as well. But the point is, to your point, Adam, is that there will be a second wave, potentially a third wave. I don't know if anybody's read anything about the pandemic in the early 1900s.
The Spanish flu. Yeah.
Nobody knows what to do, but what I agree with you 100% is that there has to be more emphasis put on the idea that we have to stay healthy and us staying in our home, eating our crappy food. Although I will say that I usually make crappy food and now I'm making all the good shit because I have all the time. But yeah, it's an experiment, right? The guinea pig experiment. And I just think that, I don't know. I mean,
well, and it's the mental health part of it too. I mean, that's
the part that scares me.
It's the part that scares me too. Adam and I have 5 kids together.
Oh
and I had 2, he has 3.
Yeah.
But blended. But I have seen, just an example, my youngest daughter, she's this athlete. She's a volleyball player. Mm-hmm. That's her life. That's her passion. And she was on a competitive volleyball team in a league. And I watched her go from working out every day and being super social and excited. And it was like a wilting flower. Mm-hmm. It was the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. Yep. I could barely watch it. She was sleeping in. She was, she's constantly tired. She's unmotivated. She's sad. And she's feeling just completely cut off and isolated. And I just eventually, I'm like, you know what? This is a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot watch my child suffer like this.
Okay, so put your mom hat on
Painful.
for just a second.
Yeah.
Because my daughter is the same age as Lily, I think, right? Or close.
Lily's
within
a year older.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same experience. As a mother, what are you doing?
So
is there anything you can do?
So slowly I started letting her hang out with a couple friends. I told her, I'm like, just be careful, be respectful, because
I tell her, go hug your friends.
No, I don't do that. Adam and I have a little bit of a different view of this whole thing. Like, I'm a little bit more conservative than he is about it. But I said, I'm okay with you hanging out with a couple friends, like go on bike rides, go on walks, get out of the house.
Yeah.
And as she started having that interaction with her friends, she just started coming back to life again. She's happier. And I just, keeping these kids locked up and away from their friends, especially teenagers. Well, little kids, it's like a whole other story. But I'm just dealing, I have teenagers, so I just look at them. And it's such a delicate time as it is. And to just throw this into it, and then with the whole school freaking disaster that we're dealing with, I am heartbroken for my children.
Yeah.
And I just had to make that decision. I'm like, you know what? I know technically she's probably supposed to be, staying at home and not seeing friends, but I'm like, I can't, the risk and the reward here,
right.
It's not worth it to watch her suffer and just kind of, she just became this person I didn't recognize.
Yeah. And right now at that age, for example, like it's so pivotal in who they're going to become at this age because, there's this awful, like perfect storm of like hormones and now COVID and now in the school. And it's like, you don't even know what's going to come out in the mix there. And I kind of I definitely subscribe to the same thing that you do. And it's like, you need to be with people, we're very, for example, my daughter was like, hey, can I hang out with so-and-so? And I was like, I've never heard of this person. I've never met his parents. I've never so obviously I was like, okay, let's shift and like, let's find the friends that you've grown up with. And I know what there's been going on and I'm more aware. Right. So as a parent, it's not like we're just like, oh, I don't care if my kid gets sick, but we're making choices and we're balancing the mental well-being and the physical well-being with the sickness, possibility.
Yes.
And it's, again, back to what I was mentioning to the two of you before we started recording. It's like at some point we all have to be grown-ups and adults, and I can't and you can't babysit everybody. But we know generally the health of our children, right? If one of them is compromised, you're not going to make that choice. You're not going to make that choice for them to do that. But if they're fully healthy and you know who they're hanging out with, and that's like, just do what you have to do to get through this. The same thing with the schooling. I have a kindergartner who I was like, okay, 6 months of kindergarten on like 5 different apps and like 16 assignments a day online. I'm like,
yeah,
big double middle finger to you guys. I know the teachers are trying to do their best and I totally get it, but my child is not going to be a different human being because for the last 3 months, he wasn't, learning Montessori ways of how to pour water into a goddamn pitcher, So I'm like, we're out. Every time the teacher the teacher would send an assignment and I would just write, thank you, and send it back. But that's the point. It's like, we all have to take responsibility for ourselves.
Well, and it's a balance. I mean, I just feel like during this whole thing, what's the biggest frustration for me is that I am seeing these two extremes, right? It's either if we want to open our business, if we go out to eat, if we, go for a walk without a mask or a run without a mask, you're trying to kill people. Right? So you want people to die. We had people tell us that. They're like, if you open your gym, you literally, it's, those lives are going to be.
We want you to die.
Okay, so let's talk about this specifically.
Yeah.
The first question, like part A of this question is, are the people who are saying that, generally speaking, current members who are saying that? And B, what is your response to that?
So the answer is no. Like, these people are coming just out of the woodwork. Okay. Like, they're kind of just trolls. This is all been on social media.
We label them crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
they're
cannot
trolls.
reason with
put a
crazy
tag
anyway.
on the email.
Yeah.
But I do think certain people probably feel that way.
Yeah.
And our response is, of course that's not true.
Right.
I mean, come on. Like, we are in the business of health and wellness. Like, we don't
want to kill people.
We have a very vested interest in keeping everyone alive, right? And so it's ridiculous, and then if you follow the rules, we're sheep, right? We don't have the balls to reopen and just take possession of our own business and do what we want. And that's not okay either.
Right.
I mean, we have to be respectful of everyone,
right?
No matter what your beliefs are. And there is a middle ground. There is a way that we can live our lives. We can open up the economy. We can live, but be respectful and be safe. There is a middle way.
Yep.
It does not work when you have one extreme or the other extreme. That is never the answer.
Right.
Extremism to the left or to the right doesn't work, right?
Agreed.
We have to find a middle ground. And that is what is lacking in this country, on this planet.
I agree.
That what happened to that middle ground?
Yeah.
Where we can have conversations, we can disagree, but we could be polite. There's just this middle ground. It's just non-existent anymore. And it's incredibly frustrating. So I think that's where Adam and I both live. Mm-hmm. We can see both sides. We want to work with everyone and, be respectful and listen to every point of view.
But in the end, don't you think that, let's take the dollar and cents out of the equation, which I know is a very important component, but At the end of the day, you need to be able to align with what's important to you and your values as humans. So you